Shades of Green, Monday morning on 101.5 FM, 7:20 a.m. KDON.
And we are back. Shades of Green on KDWN, 7:20 a.m. and 101.5 FM. Today our guest speaker is Chris Brooks, Assemblyman from District 10. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
We are back. Let's talk community solar. Legislation was passed in 2017, but the governor vetoed it. I got to believe that's going to be coming back up soon, next legislative session. Tell us about that.
Well, community solar is a concept, and there's many different definitions for it, but it's a concept where you don't physically have solar on your roof, yet you get the benefits of having a solar system. And so there are several different models out there. One would be that the utility in a large utility scale system offers a subscription rate that you then pay into, so that you get 100% solar for your property. Another model would be that you have small to large systems distributed throughout the community, and individual community members that don't have the ability to have solar because they live in, let's say, an apartment or a multifamily home or a senior center, or don't have a suitable roof, or they rent the home they're in, yet they still want to have the benefits of solar, they would then invest in or subscribe to that particular solar system. And so that's the concept. And there was a bill in the last legislative session that came up with a plan to do community solar. And that particular bill was more like a large-scale utility system, and where most of the benefits went to a large corporate consumer, and not as many went to low-income or targeted communities for community solar. And so that and the fact that there was uncertainty associated with question 3 that was on the ballot and had passed already once in 2016, the governor vetoed it. We will definitely be bringing this concept back to this legislative session, and it will look different than it did last time. But the uncertainty associated with question 3 no longer exists. So I think we'll have, on a few of these fronts, we'll have a much more productive discussion about things like community solar and RPS and rooftop solar, now that question 3 doesn't throw that whole conversation into complete disarray.
So it sounds to me like solar has a bright future, if you will.
Absolutely. One of the most important thing for folks who are investing in community solar projects, rooftop solar projects, utility scale projects, is certainty. And question 3 created uncertainty. Now that failed and failed by a wide margin, that we can put in place statutes and policies that reintroduce that certainty to the business community, so they can invest in the state of Nevada.
And that's great. And we all should have some solar on our houses. It's the perfect place for it. Moving along, on NRS 704B was used by several large Nevada entities to exit the grid, exit the regulated monopoly utility grid, by paying multi-millions of dollars to exit for an exit fee to protect the remaining pool of utility ratepayers. Can you tell us about that? These included like MGM Resorts, Caesars, Wynn, and Switch.
Absolutely. So back in the late 90s and 2001, Nevada tried to deregulate their retail electric supply model through statute, and similar to what question 3 tried to do. And when we did that, it caused the market to crash. And if you recall the Western energy crisis, the blackouts and brownouts in California, Nevada, Montana, that was as a result of market manipulation and scarcity of energy supply. Well, that's the left over from that process. We returned everything back to how it was. But one of the things that left over from that process is NRS, Nevada Revised Statute 704B. And that was meant so that large consumers could go out and procure their own energy, because at the time, the local electric utilities in Nevada could not do that in a cost-effective manner. And it was so that we could shed some of that large load. Well, casinos and mines and data centers have figured out that by using 704B, they can also go out and procure their own energy so that they can get a better price for it, theoretically. And like you mentioned, several of these, pretty much every major casino and mine has filed or has already left. And what they have to do is the Public Utilities Commission looks at investments made on the overall system that were meant to accommodate that load, that existing load, or the growth that load projected. And when this customer leaves, they have to pay a fee that is supposed to reflect what that impact is on all the other ratepayers in the system. And that there has been quite a bit of debate on whether it's a fair fee, should they pay the fee. And I believe that whole process led to the question 3 being put on the ballot. I don't know that question 3 necessarily would have made that go away, but it definitely 704B in the process by the desire by a few of the participants in that, 2 to be exact, to put that ballot question up to Nevada.
Well, I know part of the question was about ensuring fairness for all the energy ratepayers. So if these big guys jump off the grid and go independent, how do they cover the sunk costs? And I guess now that the music's playing, we'll talk about that when we come back to Shades of Green on KDWR. We'll be right back.